because they're extremely light, smaller saddles, and all they are is used for everything that you've done to this horse so far. You've put them on him, tacked him up, and if he for some reason falls down with it or lays down, I'm not tearing up one of my good saddles. So I do still pad them well under there, so it's not an issue. And I try to have these with saddles so that they've got plenty of width underneath of them, so they're a little bigger than most of the saddle I'd ride, so that we're not pinching them. But if we got one that doesn't quite fit right, the same thing is happening. I see you've got a decent pad under that. You're not putting a lot of pressure on it. But when I start getting on that horse, that's when I want to make sure that I'm going to have a relatively good fit on that horse. And as far as getting a saddle custom made for a horse, that's difficult because his back will change as he ages. His back will change from the beginning of spring till the midsummer and winter. With weight gain, weight loss, their backs actually change throughout a ride. If you take a long ride, a day-long ride, they can lose as much as 100, 150 pounds of weight, and their back will change because of that. So, getting a custom-made saddle for a horse is good in that moment in time of that horse, in their point of their life and the point of that season, but it'll change all around that. So you do the best you can for fit, and then you try to make sure that fit is taken up with the pad after that to make sure that it's appropriately laid on his back.
Okay.
I hope did that answer that for you?
Yeah, it did. I think that it seems from what you're saying, get something that fits as best as possible, and then fix it with a pad if you need to. But you probably, if you're going to get a young horse and start it through one or two saddles in their life.
That's right. That's right. And we've got the luxury here at our place. So we've got, I've got both my granddads are gone, have been for a while, and we're still using their saddles. And so we've got, oh my goodness, probably a total of rideable saddles, at least 6 or 8 rideable saddles. And then some that are smaller, and then some of the ones that I call them junk saddles, really, because I picked them up at a pawn shop at a decent price, and they're the ones that I use for this kind of work where when you were sacking him with the saddle, you were throwing it off of him and dragging him under. I don't want to do that to my good saddle, but I don't mind doing that to what I call the junk saddles.
Okay.
There you go. You're looking in his ears because you never know when you're going to have to do that. That's absolutely perfect. And putting your nose or your fingers in his mouth and his nose.
Good boy.
Now, I showed you the false nostril that they have, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you pack your lunch up in there? Because it's going to be getting close to noon when we're done.
It's like sticking his boogers.
Yeah, there you go. I can see that false nostril kind of bulging when you stick your finger up there. But it's so important to be able to get your fingers and hands on this horse everywhere you can. And I noticed you were doing that earlier, under his tail, everywhere. It's really good for them to be able to do that. Oh, look at that. He's coming to you. All right. So I think we can probably skip actually him moving around the corral with the saddle on, because that's not new to him. And you can probably go right to grabbing your rope and kind of swinging it from the saddle. We'll wrap him up and do that kind of work. It's so funny. I have kids, when you're teaching little guys or kind of getting them used to a horse, they've never been around one before, especially little guys. You show them where that false nostril is, and they can stick their finger in their nose way up there, and the looks on their faces is just hilarious. And people just don't know. It's fun.
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No. Learn something new.
Every day we learn something new, don't we? There you go. Good. Oh, there's a little. You must have just kind of touched him a little bit on the saddle. There we go.
Attention.
This is good. And then there you go. I increase the speed so you can hear that thing really goes through the air and makes that noise.